Didn't that World Cup draw take forever? Hello, I am the Irish guy, and okay, right. Go on then. This is my earliest prediction ever for anything. 6 months in advance before the World Cup spots have even all filled up, I'm gonna try and predict the entire group stage. And considering I'm doing this before Christmas, then this is going to be the single greatest prediction in the history of humankind. Honestly, getting this one right so far in advance. Soon I'm gonna have people asking me to point out which strangers in public are gonna one day give birth to twins. Right, let's go. Group A, 4th, South Africa, 0 points. How on earth is Mexico versus South Africa the opening game again? They opened the World Cup together in 2010, and now, just 3 World Cups later, it is the exact same curtain raiser. That is all sorts of bonkersly weird. It's not like even either country are some major footballing powerhouse either, right? And yet, they're both playing out the opening match for 2 of the last 5 World Cups. It's very strange and random. It's like someone repeatedly hiring JLS to perform at a king's birthday party. But look, I'm sorry, South Africa, but I'm slapping you into last place in the group. Simply because your squad looks weaker than a squirrel at the gym. I mean, when your nation's major superstar is Lyle Foster, when he's your Superman, then you should know that your World Cup is going to be more painful than holding in diarrhea on a plane. I think South Africa lose to Mexico, lose to Ireland, and lose to South Korea. Bottom of the group on 0 points. And I'm sorry, but if South Africa do go through, squeezing themselves out of Group A, then I will ask random strangers to marry me whilst dressed as an elephant. 3rd, South Korea, 4 points. Yeah, here's another South Africa, South Korea, South Ireland, I guess, and south of the border, Mexico. But look, I got South Korea squeezing through as one of the 8 best 3rd place teams in the group because they'll get 4 points. I think they pick up a fierce point on match they won against the Republic of Ireland in a match that's going to be happening in the middle of the night. So I'm going to be sitting there in my underpants, nervously chomping on Special K and trying not to fall asleep. But yeah, that'll be a tough draw, and I think that Mexico will beat Korea in the final match. So 3rd and through. 2nd, Ireland, 4 points. What are you looking at me like that for? I'm going to go rogue and say the Republic of Ireland will qualify. And if we do, it's going to be more beautiful than seeing a pig playing the piano. Come on, this is practically the group we would have gotten back in 2010 if Thierry Henry had not cheated our entire nation out of a World Cup with his dodgy left paw. Seriously, we'd have been thrust into Group A with Mexico, South Africa, and Uruguay. That was the group I wanted, and I was outraged that France stole our spot. Seriously, for those who don't remember, it was a worldwide disgrace. We were begging FIFA for a replay, or if that failed, then we were asking them to submit us as an extra World Cup team. I mean, to be fair, that suggestion made us look like a laughing stock. Oh yeah, I'm sure FIFA would have lopsided the entire tournament by creating one group of 5 just because they felt sorry for us. Nah, it was a pathetic question, to be fair, which made us look more desperate than your Aunt Martha, a middle-aged woman who hands out her phone number outside midnight screenings of Magic Mike. Patrice Evra even cheekily offered us a replay on the PlayStation, which made teenage me feel like angrily thrusting chicken nuggets up his nose. But look, this group is our birthright. This is what we were owed back in 2010. So yes, 4 points and through, and lads, next summer is going to be magical. Wait until you see my reaction. First, Mexico, 9 points. You know what's weird? Mexico's boss Javier Aguirre also led them in Group A back in 2010. He's back for his 3rd different World Cup as Mexico boss. It seems like he just gets wheeled out for World Cups before dipping back into the wilderness. So I promise you, he's going to quit the Mexico job again after this tournament, just like he did in 2002 and 2010. But with home advantage here, I see Mexico making mincemeat of this group. 9 points. Group B, 4th, Qatar. Yeah, Qatar are back at another World Cup. 2 in a row, which is weird considering before 2022, they never ever got a World Cup invite. 10 years ago, it was about as likely as seeing Qatar popping up at a World Cup as it would be to see me popping up at the next reunion of Friends. What am I gonna do? Just spend all night desperately fetching David Schwimmer a crunchy nut? But now, Qatar are there all the time. And now they've got a big boy manager, Julian Lopetegui, who's finally gonna manage in a World Cup after blowing his chance with Spain in 2018 when he staked them for Real Madrid and then he got fired on the eve of the World Cup. Oh, that man desperately fumbled the bag. But look, will he do much with this Qatari team? No, 0 points and out. And if Qatar do go through, then I will munch into Burger King and scream at the top of my lungs for 10 minutes. 3rd, Switzerland, 3 points. Look, Switzerland just recovered from a really sloppy 2024 to go unbeaten this year. They look pretty good, so look, I'm gonna give them 3rd and through on 3 points. I mean, Switzerland have done historically okay at World Cups, although they've never done anything of note in the knockout rounds. Well, not really, since 1954 when they lost a World Cup quarterfinal 7-5 to Austria. 7-5. Those goalies must have been embarrassed after that. But look, I think this Swiss sneak here is one of the best 3rd place teams simply because of their opening day 4-0 win over Qatar. Because I do think they lose to Italy and Canada. Second, Canada is 6 points. You know what? I think Canada could be mini dark horses of this entire thing. I know they're managed by a bit of a goofball in Jesse Marsh. I know when he was at Leeds, his post-match interviews made the English public cringe harder than if they were listening to their granny describe a first kiss. But hey, he did recently squeeze Canada into the semi-finals of the Copa America. Not bad for a hockey country. And look, I know they've got the World Cup pedigree of a wet cookie, but they've got a bit of a golden generation. Alphonso Davies, the two Davids. I mean, their striker literally plays up front for Juventus. Little old Canada, that's more surreal than finding Daffy Duck's thing in your fridge. So you know what? I think they qualify. I think they get off to a bad start by losing the opening match against Italy, but then get their confidence up by slapping Qatar, and then yeah, I think they sneak a last-minute win in Vancouver at home to Switzerland. 6 points and through, eh? They've never ever qualified from World Cup group, but I think they absolutely will, and to prove it, if they don't, then I will ask 50 subscribers to queue up and egg me. First, Italy 9 points. Oh, this could really backfire. I'm well aware that Italy aren't even yet qualified for this thing, and they still have to navigate the playoffs, and yeah, Gadar Gattuso's boys could absolutely slip up against the Welsh, but I just can't envision a world where a former world champion who boasts one of the top leagues in the world then have to sit out 3 World Cups in a row. I think if that were to happen, it would be a bigger disgrace to Italy than the Calciopoli. It's the type of national disgrace that probably cause Gattuso to go and have to live on the moon. I think Italy will get there. When they do, top of the group on 9 points. I reckon Sandro Tonali utterly dominates this group. 3 wins and through. And if they don't, if Italy don't top this group, then I will do an entire video covered from head to toe in a pile of spaghetti. Group C, 4th Haiti. I can't believe Haiti are at the World Cup. All I know about this nation is that they had an earthquake once, and so Simon Cowell inflicted us with a morbidly dreary pop song, which sounded like an auto-tuned funeral. Look, no disrespect to Haiti, okay? It's just my geography knowledge could fit in a squashed tin of baked beans, and if the Haitian FA had been successful in trying to cap Alan Saint-Maximin, which was the rumor 2 weeks ago, oh, then I would be Haiti till I die. Look, I still want you to qualify because you are one of the biggest underdogs in World Cup history. I want to cheer you on, but surely you are going to get grilled like scrambled eggs. I want Haiti to pull off a New Zealand 2010 miracle, where the Kiwis extraordinarily did not lose a match and actually finished higher than the reigning world champs. I would love that for Haiti, but nah, 0 points. And for every point you do put on the board, I would take a bath in coffee. Third, Scotland, 4 points. Scotland. This is a dream World Cup group because you just be given an extremely winnable match, which you chalk up an easy 3 points on the board to almost guarantee you qualification. And you've also been given a dream glamour tie with Brazil. Then again, for the old Scottish fans, maybe it's not that much of a novelty considering this is the 5th different World Cup where you face Brazil. Ireland have never played Brazil in a competitive match, so for me, this would be amazing. It would be about as incredible as being invited to have lunch with Spider-Man. But I guess the old Scottish fans slurping haggis in a pub, they're probably a bit bored of Brazil. But look, Scotland for the first time ever are getting out of a World Cup group. I can almost promise you that as long as you don't choke in your opening match against Haiti, then you're going through. 4 points. I promise you Scotland will go through, and if you don't, I will eat a Christmas tree. Second, Morocco, 4 points. Lads, isn't it kind of crazy that there's only 2 teams in this World Cup who went further than Morocco at the last one? So put some respect in their name. This is a tough North African unit. And yeah, I think they'll get a draw with Scotland, beat Haiti, and lose to Brazil. 4 points and through. I mean, I think they'll smash Haiti into oblivion, which is why they'll have a bigger goal difference. And if Morocco don't qualify, then I will legally marry a teddy bear with documents and everything. Me and Mr. Crumbles will get officially hitched. First, Brazil, 9 points. Look, Brazil have been underwhelming soggy pumpkins at World Cups for years, which is sad because we've all been told when growing up about the success of Brazil in the past, but the efforts they've repeatedly served up at every tournament since 2002 has been dreadful, like losing a semi-final on home turf 7-1. Lads, I want to see Brazil dominate a World Cup. They haven't done it since 2002, and back then I was a small child more obsessed with X-Men. I had yet to be truly bitten by the football bug, so I want to see Brazil do it. I remember being so disappointed by them in 2006. Blessed with some of the most special players to ever grace the game, and they were just limp weasels all summer. But look, now you've got a Champions League winning miracle boss like Carlo Ancelotti, someone who knows how to use world-class talent. So yeah, I fully expect Brazil to click next summer. 9 points and the biggest, fattest goal difference of the entire group stage. I reckon they slap Haiti by 8. Group D, 4th, Australia, 0 points. Okay, Australia proved me wrong at the last World Cup. I gave them no chance of climbing out of the group, and they did. So fair play, but not again. Oh no, 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 no. This is a nation which has never been soccer obsessed. But back in my childhood, they used to have some big name stars like Viduka, Cahill, and Kewell. But now, I mean, name one Australia star. Just one. Now, you'd have better chance trying to guess the amount of cheeseburgers that Toadie has ever had in his life. There is such a lack of Aussie talent these days. It might just be the worst Australia squad I've ever seen in my life. So, bottom and out. And if Australia do qualify, then I will eat 1 million bananas. Oh, wait, how on earth do I afford that? I'll worry about that when I get there, because Australia, bottom. Trust me, bottom. Third, Turkey, 3 3 points. Okay, look, I know Turkey aren't there yet, but I think they'll squeak through the playoffs, and yeah, they'll comfortably beat Australia, lose to Paraguay, and lose to the USA. 3 points, and that will just be enough to scrape them through on goal difference. You'll qualify, but trust me, you're gonna be very, very lucky. Second, USA, 7 points. Look, USA have home advantage, and they have arguably the most talented squad of all time, and oh yeah, one of the best coaches in the tournament. I know Mauricio Pochettino's career might have wobbled like jelly since leaving Spurs, but come on. It was only a few years ago he's apparently being fought over by Man United and Real Madrid. He's got every advantage in his book. He's got home advantage. He's got the players. There is no excuse though. This has to be the USA's best ever effort at a World Cup. And there's a surprisingly high bar after reaching the quarters in 2002. Look, Pochettino is the third best paid manager at this tournament after Tuchel and Ancelotti. Wow, being a former Chelsea boss really does get you paid. But yeah, they'll draw with Paraguay and beat Australia and beat Turkey. 7 points, trust me. First, Paraguay 7 points. I think Paraguay might be mini dark horses at this tournament. And yeah, just like the USA, 7 points and through, with their goal difference being better after absolutely eating Australia on toast in match day 3. Paraguay are 100% going through, and if they don't, then I will paint myself pink. Group E, fourth Curacao, 0 points. Sorry, Curacao, but you've got no chance. This mini Caribbean island, who I guess are kind of Dutch or something, I don't know. I'm sorry, I know this sounds like being lectured by a drunk geography teacher, but I don't know. I'm only going off what I read in the comments. They're apparently also kind of Dutch, which is why they got a nearly 90-year-old Dutch granddad and advocate at the wheel. Look, it's a cute little story that they're at this thing, but no, absolutely not. 0 points and out. And if they go through, then I will try to run for president of Ireland. It ain't gonna happen. Third, Ivory Coast, 3 points. The potential of Ivory Coast used to excite me. Whenever I saw this backward Irish flag at World Cups from growing up, I immediately thought that is a dark horse. A supremely talented team featuring world-class superstars like Drogba, Toure, even Kalou was good. And yet they never really did much at World Cups, which is a mighty shame. Seriously, that team featuring Drogba and Yaya in their prime back in 2010, they were so unlucky to get Brazil and Portugal in their group, and they then bottled an easy group in 2014 when the generation was now still good with Aurier, Tiote, Boni, and Gervinho. Anyway, nowadays the golden generation has fully dried up. It's much less exciting, but ironically, it now means that for the first time ever, they're going to get out of their group. 3 points, they'll lose to Ecuador and to Germany, but they'll slap up Curacao 5-0 in the final match to rescue themselves. And that win alone means they go through with 3 points and a good goal difference. Second, Germany 7 points. I mean, look, Germany have to qualify. They simply must, because they have not played a World Cup knockout match since they won the thing 11 years ago. That is all sorts of crazy, but look, Julian Nagelsmann's boys will win 2 and draw 1 and go through smoothly, but I don't think they top the group. First, Ecuador 7 points. Ecuador are a boring team. Don't you tell me that they're not. Earlier this year, they drew 4 0-0s in a row. Lads, since 2021, Ecuador have drawn 16 times 0-0. 16 0-0s in 4 years. That is so excruciatingly dull. But that means that their defense is quality and they're really tough to beat. So I'm calling it a 0-0 with Germany. They will definitely have at least 1 0-0 at this tournament. And if they don't, then I will get strangers to throw burgers at my head. Lads, I think with a £100 million Saicedo in the middle of the park and with AC Milan, Arsenal, and PSG defenders at the back, I'm calling it they're going to be a World Cup dark horse. They don't have any goals in the team, but they'll be tough. They will be such an annoying team to break down, and I think that gets them top of the group after boring everyone to sleep. Seriously, lads, I'm promising you now, I will fall asleep during an Ecuador match. Promise. Group F, fourth, Tunisia, 1 point. I mean, this is arguably the most open group in the list. Anyone in Group F could win the group, and anyone could finish bottom. Unfortunately for Tunisia, I see you scraping an opening night point against Poland with a turgid 0-0, and that's it. You lose the other 2 games. Sorry, Tunisia. Third, Poland, 1 point. Yeah, I think Poland will qualify simply because of one reason, Lewandowski, but still, I think it'll be a pretty poor effort in America though. And yeah, like Tunisia, 1 point and out, a 0-0, and then you lose 2. Sorry, Poland. But if you do qualify, then I will do my shopping in Aldi dressed in a pig onesie. Second, Japan, 6 points. Do not sleep on Japan at World Cups, because they've qualified from 3 of the last 4 World Cup groups. And yeah, similarly, I think they do it again. I think they beat Poland and beat Tunisia, and so go through. Japan are gonna do it again. And if Japan don't go through, then I will burst into the Aldi car park and tell everyone I see how much they look like Mr. Bean. First, Netherlands, 9 points. Look, Netherlands could absolutely bottle this group. Yeah, because they got a golden generation of defenders, sure. So much so that poor old Sven Botman is sitting at home eating toast on the couch. But they've got nothing really going forward. So yeah, because of the defense alone, I reckon they win 3 games 1-0 and top the group with 9 points, sure. But they'll look about as convincing as a cheap toupee. Group G, fourth, Iran, 0 points. I'm going to call it 0 points and out. Next, third, New Zealand, 3 points. New Zealand are going through. That is my shout. Lads, it would be incredible to see this tiny little rugby island squeezing their way into the World Cup knockout rounds. Although very strange for the Hobbit nation, where all the kids are raised on rugby. And I mean, if you're someone like Chris Wood and you tell your dad you want to play soccer instead, oh no, your family would probably rather you announce to them that you want to marry bunny rabbits. But yeah, I think they get a historic World Cup win against Iran, and that alone gets them through. As long as they don't get utterly destroyed in their other two matches, they should have a decent enough goal difference to scrape through as the worst, best third place team. Just watch. Second, Belgium, 6 points. This Belgium golden generation is over. Belgium are now how they used to be. Just a rugged, boring team limited to just 1 or 2 stars, not millions. Sure, Doku is their tasty star boy now, and yeah, Courtois is always world class in goal, but that's kind of it. I mean, Belgium didn't do much at World Cups when they had the best players in the world, so now, I don't even think they top the group. First, Egypt, 9 points. I'm tipping Egypt to be another dark horse. Sure, it's a nation which has never done anything at a World Cup ever before, but now, I'm saying they'll finish top. Look, I know neither are in good form right now, and in fact, both of them are relegated to eating chips on the bench, but still, Mo Salah and Omar Marmoush, on form, are still incredible ballers, and putting them together in the same attack, that should strike fear into any defense in the world, and I think it pays off with 3 wins in a very, very easy winnable group. Probably the worst, easiest group in the whole thing. I promise you, Egypt top this group as Salah plops himself in the chop window, desperately trying to audition for Barcelona. Group H, 4th, Cape Verde. Sorry, Cape Verde, but you know what this is. 0 points and out. Next, 3rd, Saudi Arabia, 3 points. Look, the Saudis were a bit of a surprise package of the last World Cup, but nah. I do think you've wasted a golden opportunity, like when you let Roberto Mancini, an international hero, slip through your fingers very quickly. And so yeah, you scrape a win against Cape Verde, but that's it. 3 points and out. Second, Uruguay, 6 points. I am prepared for a wacky Uruguay. If this team plays anything like Marcelo Bielsa's nuts Leeds team, this should be a very fun tournament. And yeah, Uruguay, they're always involved in something weird at the World Cup, whether it's Suarez biting or conceding the best individual goal of all time. So yeah, surely they pick up a couple of wins before, yeah, probably losing to Spain in match day 3. First, Spain, 9 points. Yeah, Spain are reigning Euro champs, are probably the favorites for this World Cup. And oh yeah, this is Lamine Yamal's first ever World Cup. Oh, they're winning every match. Next, and if Spain do not top this group, then I will go around desperately begging grannies for a cookie. Group I, 4th, Bolivia. So many groups. Are we still not done yet? Is anyone still there? Look, I think Bolivia will qualify for this thing before they melt like chocolate muffins in the oven, because they're going to be chucked into a really tough group. Honestly, the poor Bolivians having to stomach motivation for their playoff now, knowing they'll be rewarded for their efforts by having to come up against Haaland, Mbappe, and Mane. All 3 people who've finished on a Ballon d'Or podium before. Oh, side me up. Third, Senegal, 3 points. Look, Senegal are not what they used to be, and I actually think they will crash out in the group stage as one of the 4 worst third-place teams. They'll beat Bolivia 2-0, but I think they lose quite heavily against France and Norway. Yeah, I think Senegal are going out. Second, France, 6 points. I mean, you probably think it's weird that I'm not tipping France atop the group, right? Maybe even a disgrace, but lads, do not sleep on this Norwegian golden generation. They're gonna be everything that Belgium were not. I think Norway beat France. First, Norway, 9 points. This Norway golden generation is going to be monstrous. And so when you've got literally the single best goal machine on the planet, you've absolutely got a major chance of doing something at this thing. Seriously, this Norway team could go all the way to the final. See, I'm going for 3 wins out of 3. It's going to be an epic summer for Norway. Just you watch. Group J, 4th, Jordan, 0 points. 0 points and out. Look, I don't want to slag off Jordan too much because otherwise I'll sound like Dwight York. But lads, I just think it's such an easy pick for 4th. 0 points and out. Third, Algeria, 4 points. Yep, Algeria will go through as one of the best third place teams. They'll lose to Argentina, but beat Jordan pretty comfortably. And so yeah, then a 0-0 draw with Austria. A final group game result, which helps everyone, as Austria and Algeria pretty much agree to play out a terrible 0-0 where neither team goes for the win. I promise you, that game is going to be like drinking mouse spit. Second, Austria, 4 points. Yep, almost identical to what I predicted for Algeria. First, Argentina, 9 points. Well, obviously, they're World Cup champs. Of course they're winning this group. If they don't, then I will eat 50 bowls of shreddies in one sitting. Group K, 4th, Uzbekistan, 1 point. How did Uzbekistan have Fabio Cannavaro in charge? The only manager this entire tournament who knows what it feels like to win a Ballon d'Or. It's actually crazy to see him actually manage at a World Cup. He must have the single best agent in the world, because he was one of the best paid managers in the world with China, and now similarly with Uzbek. Based on what? What has he actually achieved in management? Nothing. He was sacked after 6 games by Udinese, and yet, despite being a world-class, unbelievable footballer, he's getting paid way more for being mediocre milk as a coach. Crazy. And so yeah, I think they'll draw 1-1 with Dr. Congo, but that's it. Cannavaro is not proving he's worth the paycheck. No way. Third, Dr. Congo, 1 point. Yeah, same. A draw with Uzbekistan, but 2 defeats and out. Sorry, Yohan Wissa. Second, Colombia, 6 points. Yeah, pretty straightforward. straightforward group. Colombia will win 2 and lose to Portugal next. First, Portugal 9 points. 3 wins, 9 points, and Ronaldo will still be chewing World Cup goals at 41. Something he actually failed to do at the last World Cup. But this is because it's such an easy, weak group. Oh, this is going to be light work. Group L, fourth, Panama, 0 points. Yeah, poor old Panama are going to be eaten alive in every single match. Just like in 2018, 0 points next. Third, Ghana, 4 points. I think Ghana go through after final day drama, sneaking a last-minute draw with Croatia to scrape them through and cue absolutely magical scenes in the crowd. Just watch. Second, Croatia. This is an old Croatia team. I mean, come on. Modric is 40. Even the coach is the same fella who got them to our World Cup final 7.5 years ago. Surely things must be pretty tired, weak, sluggish, and stale in the Croatia camp, having to listen to this one voice since 2017. I think Croatia frustrate England in the opening match with a 0-0 draw in the heat, and then they'll stomp all over Panama, and yeah, through in second on 5 points. First, England 7 points. Look, it won't be a walk in the park for England, no, and I think you will toil in the heat, but look, after drawing Croatia on the first match, I think you comfortably beat Ghana 3-0 before destroying Panama. Probably sticking 7 past them with a Bellingham hat-trick, and cue the English hype. So there we have it. Finally, the longest prediction in the world, because there's so many teams, but there, of the third place teams, I think Dr. Congo, Senegal, Saudi, and Poland say goodbye early, with everyone else, even New Zealand, going through. And if all of this happens, then I will look like an absolute genius. Just you watch. Anyway, let me know your World Cup predictions in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, I'll talk shit a while. Wow, that was long.